Victoria Beckham had always been a woman who prided herself on keeping her family close, ensuring that her 4 children were well protected from the pitfalls of fame. Over the years, she had developed a keen eye for the people who entered their lives: friends, business partners, romantic partners. And when it came to her children's relationships, she had always been supportive but watchful. So when news broke of Romeo Beckham's quiet breakup with longtime girlfriend Mia Regan, Victoria couldn't shake the lingering concern she felt for the young model. To outsiders, the split had seemed amicable. Mia and Romeo had spent nearly 5 years together, growing up side by side in the public eye. Their relationship had been filled with playful TikToks, stylish red carpet appearances, and the occasional social media shoutout. But now, after months of subtle distance and fewer public sightings, they had officially gone their separate ways. A mother's intuition. Victoria had always liked Mia. The 21-year-old model had a quirky sense of style that mirrored her own early years in the fashion industry. More importantly, she had been a steady presence in Romeo's life, someone who grounded him in a world that often moved too fast. But now, as Victoria scrolled through social media, she noticed something that made her uneasy. Mia's usual bubbly energy had shifted. Her posts were more sporadic, her captions less cheerful. There were no cryptic breakup quotes or dramatic declarations. Mia wasn't that kind of person, but there was an underlying melancholy in her photos. Victoria didn't need a headline to tell her what was happening. She had seen it before, with friends, colleagues, and even family members. Breakups in the public eye were rarely clean. David, sensing her concern, leaned over one evening as they sat in their London home, sipping a quiet cup of tea. "You're worried about her," he noted, watching the flicker of concern on his wife's face. Victoria nodded. I don't want her to feel like she's alone in all of this." David exhaled, setting down his mug. "She's a tough girl. And Romeo, he's got a good heart. I'm sure they handled things well." "Maybe," Victoria conceded. "But being young and heartbroken, especially when the world is watching, isn't easy." She knew all too well what it felt like to have personal matters dissected in the press. Back in the early days of her relationship with David, every glance, every whisper had been turned into a tabloid spectacle. Now, with social media amplifying every detail, she could only imagine how much harder it was for Mia. A quiet gesture. Victoria had never been the type to interfere in her children's relationships, but she wasn't going to sit by and do nothing either. So one evening, after much deliberation, she sent Mia a short but meaningful message. "Hope you're doing okay. Always here if you ever need a chat. XEVB." It wasn't intrusive. It wasn't dramatic. Just a quiet offering of support. Mia didn't respond right away, and Victoria didn't expect her to. But a few days later, her phone buzzed with a reply. "Thank you, Victoria. Means a lot. Hope you're well too. X." It was brief, but it reassured Victoria that Mia wasn't entirely shutting herself off. Romeo's perspective. Meanwhile, Romeo had been navigating the breakup in his own way. Unlike his brother Brooklyn, whose highly publicized relationship with Nicola Peltz had been a tabloid staple, Romeo had always been a bit more reserved. But that didn't mean he wasn't feeling the weight of the split. He and Mia had been together for years, and though they had grown apart naturally, there was still love and respect between them. "Have you spoken to Mia?" Victoria asked him one evening. Romeo hesitated before nodding. "Yeah, a little. She's handling it well, I think. But you know, it's weird not having her around." Victoria squeezed his hand. It's okay to miss someone, even if the relationship wasn't meant to last forever. He sighed. "I just don't want her to feel like we've all just moved on and forgotten about her." Victoria smiled softly. "That's not how family works, love." The paparazzi's watchful eye. Of course, no high-profile breakup was ever truly private. The paparazzi had already begun spinning their own narratives, speculating about Romeo's next romantic interest, analyzing Mia's solo outings, and even dragging Victoria into the headlines. Victoria Beckham worried for Mia Regan post-breakup. One tabloid blared. Inside Mia Regan's heartbreak. How Romeo's family feels about the split, another proclaimed. Victoria sighed when she saw the headlines. This was exactly why she had wanted to check in with Mia. The world could be relentless, and not everyone had the shield of experience that she did. A new chapter for Mia.